How does the Muratorian Fragment hint at the Bible's canon? Imagine uncovering a piece of history that shows us how early Christians decided which writings were truly sacred. That's exactly what the Muratorian Fragment offers. It's one of the oldest lists of New Testament books, dating back to around the years 170 to 180 after Christ. This document helps us see how the early church recognized certain writings as inspired and others as not. It's like a window into the process of forming what we now call the Bible's canon. The fragment confirms that, by the late 2nd century, many of the key books like the four Gospels, the Acts of the Apostles, and the 13 Pauline epistles were already accepted as scripture. This shows that early Christians had a clear sense of which writings carried divine authority. It also mentions other writings like the Apocalypse of Peter and the Shepherd of Hermas. These texts were respected but not included in the official list of scripture. The early church used specific criteria to decide what was canonical. They looked at whether the book was written by an apostle or someone close to an apostle, whether it was consistent with Christian doctrine, and if it was widely used in worship. The Muratorian Fragment also reveals that the canon was largely settled by the 2nd century, long before any official church decree. It challenges the idea that Emperor Constantine or later rulers decided the canon. Instead, it shows that the early church carefully discerned which writings were inspired through their own criteria. This helps us understand that the Bible's canon was not a random collection, but a thoughtful process rooted in apostolic authority and doctrinal harmony. For us today, it reminds us that the scriptures we hold are part of a tradition of careful recognition and affirmation. It encourages us to study these texts with respect for their historical and theological roots, knowing that they were chosen because they truly reflected the message of Jesus and the apostles. The Muratorian Fragment is a key piece of evidence that shows how the early church identified the core writings that continue to guide believers around the world.